Alrighty, everyone. Sorry about the late start. We had to reset routers because the internet is our sworn nemesis. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Obsidian, everybody's favorite Death Knight, and the DM of this campaign. Welcome to Eberron, Ashes of the Last War. As is tradition, we're going to be doing around the table introductions before a brief session recap and then jumping right into the action. So first up, we have Paige the Mage.
Yeah, hello. My name is Illya. I go by Royal Knight BT on both Twitch and Twitter, and I play one of the two cat girls in this campaign. And it's a lot of fun. I have a good time, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, thank you. Cat girls in my campaign, more likely than you think. um, Thank you, Yulia. Next up, we got Illya.
Illya, played by me. Hello. Yes, my name is Lily. I am super excited to be here to play some more Dungeons and Dragons with these lovely folks. Just we're getting to some spicy in-game stuff, and super excited to see where it goes. So yeah.
Thank you, Lily. Yeah, now I just realized I'll make your introduction going forward. Next up, we have Prisma Illya.
It's gotta be fate, right?
Yeah, it's gotta be fate. Thank you, Lily. Next up, we've got the horniest MILF that this party could ever ask for, Euphoria Cox.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Maris. I play Euphoria Cox, everyone's favorite hot pink tiefling MILF. And my character 10 minutes ago, so let's go. I remember how to play this game. Happy to be here, happy to be queer, happy to play D&D with my friends.
See, the pro plays are to use the time where you're just meandering around town to frantically level yourself up.
Exactly.
Next up, we have your pal Malral.
Hey, I'm Malral. I am dragon and I like fire and puns. That's it.
That is summing up Litro. He is all. He is dad. He is here, scaly and a lad. Thanks, Litro. And then last but never least, we've got Cess the Best, maybe? We're going to do a little twist on it this time.
You're muted.
As is tradition.
It was a daisy. Sorry. I was reading messages. Don't look at me. Hi. Is me, Shani, role played by me, Sif. Not a cat girl. I repeat, not a cat girl. Every time that joke is made, I get closer to brutal criticling something in this campaign. Just that little bit closer. I don't really have much to say. I'm not streaming Thursday because Cyberpunk Update is coming out, and I don't feel comfortable streaming that game. But I will be putting updates of my playthrough on my Discord if any of you are interested. I love you all tons.
Sif wants to hoard all the swinging dicks to himself.
If I make it stream safe, I miss content. You don't understand.
I need the dick content. I need it. That's me playing Baldur's Gate 3. It's me playing Baldur's Gate 3. Alrighty. My only announcement is there'll be no stream on Wednesday. For I'm doing IRL stuff, and so I will not be here in our fair citadel. So, previously on Eberron, Ashes of the Last War, our plucky group of adventurers were inside of Asharon's mind palace psyche, getting to the core of their particular trauma. And they found themselves back at the village where presumably Asharon grew up as a small child, being taken in by the divine, angelic, perfect figure of the Seeker of the Flame, who the party had killed many sessions previously, but inside of Asharon's mind, they were living rent-free. After an epic battle where first the Seeker was in control of Asharon's psyche and used that to cheat their buns off, eventually the party was able to weaken them to the point that Asharon discovered the power of self-confidence and grilled cheese, and was able to rally their different personas together and strip away the Seeker's powers before a team effort with the rest of the party was able to banish them from Asharon's prominent place in their psyche once and for all. With that, Sharon actually had a moment of self-reflection as they finally had come to terms with the full extent of their past and their trauma. And with the help of their friends, they were able to accept their role and decide that maybe there is a future for them and that they are not defined by what was done to them. And with that, the party returned home and had a bit to rest and relax. Illya talked to Kai-shen about his murdered family and his constant feelings of regret and shame over his life, and that he would likely die never having righted their wrongs and never being able to see them again, which was really uplifting as Illya did art. And Euphoria talked to the cats about Jubilee and her relative mental state, and the cats talked to Euphoria about when she gonna hook up with Illya. And with that, Kai-shen eventually received a letter from the town of Nue Hue, where he apparently had some long connections with, and while he tried to get the party to stay away from him because he knew this was a fatal last stand that he was going to, they insisted that it wouldn't be so fatal if they were all together through the power of friendship. And so, acknowledging that he would not be able to dissuade his idiotic companions, they all journeyed together to the town of Nue Hue in southern Brayland. And on the way there, the party asked Kai-shen about the situation and a bit about his past, only to discover that his connection with this town is that he had been taken in there and resuscitated essentially after he was nearly killed and his whole family was killed in front of him by none other than his brother, Jiang-ro. And that is what is responsible for the enormous impaled scar between Kai-shen's back and front. The only scar he has never paved over in gold, as a way of acknowledging it as a part of his experience and treasured history. And that after Kai-shen had destroyed Clan Zhao after his brother had seized control, that was what led him to being in service to the Barramars that they met back in Quest 3. And so with this, it turns out that Jiang-ro has taken control of Clan Jin, another hobgoblin clan that had sided with the kingdom of Dragoon following their uprising against the other kingdoms of Kaveh, and that they were potentially attacking this town to raid and annex it because they know that nobody can stop them. And so Kai-shen has heeded the call to go defend the town, and the party saw a giant statue of him. And with that, they were welcomed in and basically given an opportunity to meet up with the town command in town hall or to go about their business. So welcome to Nue Hue. So what would you guys like to do?
If you want, I can change the position of that statue.
But, like move it or like change, his position. Nudge.
I can make it pose however I want.
Is
Uh,
that
Just
defacing
that good
public
at blacksmithing
property,
that
or-
I can just point at it and it will and I can command it
It's-
to
It's a
just
stone
change
statue,
however I
to
want.
be clear.
Yes, I know.
Okay, I'm just making sure it's not a metal thing.
If you
So
want,
what's
I
the
can
metal
just
if you
have
think
it,
about it?
If you want, I can just have it pop a squat.
I don't think that's exactly respectful of Kai-shen here.
Also,
I can have it go ahead and move over and just like pick up your brother if we ever find him.
Paige was saying something, got drowned out.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't know if we were defacing public property or not.
I'm asking Kai-shen, it's his statue.
It is a statue the town foolishly erected in my honor after my previous time here. I told them not to, but for whatever reason, they felt it necessary.
So you do. You don't want it to move.
I think he's saying he appreciates the thanks without, wanting to say those words exactly. So you probably shouldn't fuck with the statue.
Kai-shen, I suppose we are following your lead here. Do you think that it would be best to gather the town people? How many folks do live in this town here?
I do not know how many currently reside here. When I had lived here, it was somewhat smaller than it is now. I would presume that Kenku would probably have a more definitive set of information about the current events. He was what is the closest thing to the town mayor and marshal.
Hmm.
I don't want to go around hoisting off responsibility, but this grand battle scheme stuff, it's a little over my head. So this should go without saying, but I'll leave the strategies to you guys looking at Kai-shen and Euphoria and Malral. I'm gonna look around for a little. I'm not gonna wander off too far. I'm just looking. That's all I'm doing. But I'll leave the plan to you guys.
Well,
I just
is there any place that could best be fortified so we can bring him to us and know what we're dealing with?
He kind of looks around and goes, upon my examination of it, there's probably a small guard facility. Town never required significant personnel, largely consisting of ex-war veterans and their clanless associates. I would say, aside from that, I know that the Silver Flame has no presence here, so no fortified chapels. I do not believe that this town was sufficiently designed for defensive purposes. We would likely have to take measures to increase its fortifications.
Do you think that's possible with the time we have left?
Looks and goes, we should presumably have about 2 weeks to do what must be done. I cannot create an entire battle strategy before we know more information. But I would say that the safest assumption is to remove the non-combatants and try and prepare as many of the ones who can be rallied to our cause. Beyond that, it would be trying to skew things as much in favor of us as delaying our opposition.
Do you think more people might be rallied, as you say, to the cause if you were to talk to them, being a local hero and all?
Yes. I would not ask anyone to needlessly die in my name. If they wish to defend their own town, that is their decision.
You seem so quick to just almost admit defeat in this situation. I understand the odds are stacked against us, but these people, I'm sure, want to keep their families safe.
I'm sure they do. And sometimes the best way that they can keep them safe is to not become involved.
I suppose I know that all too well from being in Fey politics.
If they do not fight and die here, then they will still have a family no matter what.
I could make a wall.
A wall? What?
How
Yes.
big a wall?
Depends on how much stone you have, but it would be much faster than just, laying brick by brick. I can just shape the stone to however we want. So as long as we have enough stone, I can create however big of a wall you want.
That could be
Like that.
useful.
That's definitely a start.
And there is no current fortification of a wall around the city as it is, yes?
No. It was started as a relatively small farming community with some use of the gold mines nearby.
Well, anything that we can do to perhaps funnel our opponents into one location, I think would be beneficial for strategical analysis.
If there are mines, I bet there's plenty of material for you to work with, Malral.
Very true.
I can do stone. I can try and add metal panels to it too, but that would take longer. And also, I don't know how effective that would be. I can also create stone doors right into it with large lumbers, so we could open them up wherever we want to.
Seems like your skills be extremely useful for creating fortifications in this situation.
We did have to build quick fortifications during the war.
Checks out. Well, certainly a wall will be an immense help in this situation, so is that something you can do?
If you bring me raw metals too, in about 10 minutes I can just transform those into a large amount of weapons for the townsfolk as well.
Excellent. Well, we should see what we're working with here for our baseline so that we can be able to coordinate these resources. Perhaps we should speak to Kenku.
Agreed.
Okay. So I know Shani said she wants to wander around town.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm good to stick with the party if that's like better. I'm just like that was just my way of
Fair.
saying, hey, I'm not. Okay,
It's
got
up
it.
to you, friendos.
Okay. Are we all splitting off? Because I don't want to split off and like be the only one splitting off, you know?
If we are splitting up, we should at least go in pairs? Or
Does anybody wish to wander the mean streets with Shani?
I mean, I'll go with you if
Ooh, sisters.
Go for it.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else can go think of a battle plan. We're gonna go see what the locals are like.
Malral.
If we're trying to gather material.
Actually, yeah, I think that would be useful to sort of get a feel for how the people are doing and if they think they can, stick around. So.
Sorry, did someone say my name?
I was just gonna
looking
say
over my spells.
You're fine. I was just gonna say, so Malral can probably get to work on a wall if we can.
Just immediately starting a wall.
I would probably want to talk to the people of the town to, figure out where we want it. It'd be very upsetting if you were to wake up one day and notice half your farm is cut off.
Well then, Malral, Euphoria, would you like to come speak to Kenku with myself and Kai-shen?
Yeah, that sounds good.
It would be for the best. Also, we would need to talk to someone about getting the raw materials as well.
No, we could see about that. I mean, there's probably some guy trying to offload the last of his stone before he skedaddles out of here, yeah? So.
Sounds good.
Well, meet back at the town square in 30 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So with that, Illya, Euphoria, and Malral and Kai-shen are going to go to City Hall. Let's start off with our kitties wandering the mean streets. Make perception or investigation or survival check. One of those three.
Do you want us to both do it, or
yeah, you both can pick one to do it.
I'm gonna roll perception.
Perception.
That's a 14.
Yep. That numero uno. What about you?
Also roll perception. Would show up somewhere.
There we go, a 10.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so as you walk the main streets, there, the town is not super big. As you've kind of, walk around it and get a feel for it, there's maybe about 200 people who live here. Just based on how many houses there are and stuff. Mostly just like small homes, basic shops. There is a very large like tavern saloon, and there is a small stone structure which is a temple of the sovereign host. And there is the name of the tavern saloon inn is called the Glittering Goblin. And on top of that, aside from that, it's most of the people here appear to be goblinoids, with probably a smaller community of like humans and dwarves and like half elves and stuff. But there's mostly goblinoids of various types here.
So I know you said the majority is like small houses and buildings. Yeah. Is it like this is a full on village, like dirt roads, like
they don't have
paved
ground. Anything here.
Got it.
It's much more of like an old west town.
Got it. And the buildings aren't like super close together, right? Like even the alleyways are like half the size of the roads. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be quite large. Like there's probably like a central like main street thoroughfare where you'd probably have most of like the shops, but like people's houses and stuff are way more spaced out.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And this is not a good place for a fight to break out.
Not at all.
I was thinking maybe if we got lucky, like the average citizen doesn't wear armor, they can probably sneak by, but if the houses are this far apart, there's no hope for that.
You don't think we'll need to evacuate them, do you?
Listen, you didn't take any like warfare tactician classes in college, right?
Not necessarily, no.
And the most planning I've ever done is how to get out of somewhere I don't want to be. So let's leave the big thinking to, the people who want to go talk to the mayor, and let's just see if the people here actually want to stay and fight. I'm sure they won't have to retreat, though. Kai-shen looked pretty sure.
I don't know, considering the statue they have of him. I revere him very highly.
Yeah, so, they won't have to evacuate. Now with him protecting them, yeah?
And us too.
Obs, is there a larger congregation of people at the saloon or at the Sovereign Host Temple?
Probably the saloon at any given point, just because it is probably the largest structure in town. It's also the only 2-story structure in town. But everyone seems kind of scared as you go walking about and stuff. You notice a lot of people are like grabbing things or boarding up houses and stuff. There seems to be a lot of concern.
Think we should just start shouting for people's attention, or do you want to talk to someone in specific, sis?
I guess we can just kind of go in and see if anything's up. Maybe we can kind of get the feel of what the area is like, at least. To at least scope it out.
You take the lead, sis.
Okay. So they're heading to the saloon, right?
I don't know. Are we, sis?
I guess so. I mean, that's the
Mhm.
congregation.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Glittering goblin. Okay, and I guess during this time of day, it would be pretty active. Okay. High noon. Oh boy. She kind of turns to Shawnee like, yeah, maybe we can order a drink and see what's going on.
Just listening on people before we do something? Sure.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mm. Okay, we're gonna enter the bar. What are the what's the inside of the establishment like? How like what sort of patrons we dealing with? Who's the bartender? Stuff like that.
Yeah,
Also,
so
Obs, I think you might
yeah,
be
I
muted.
unmuted.
Okay, got
I
it.
don't know if they heard the description of the goblin pinup, but that is all you need to know is that there is a goblin pinup.
Goblin, it's imperative to the lore.
Yep, it's very necessary. Um, at inside of the tavern itself, there's probably about in 2 dozen people, all looking very disappointed. Just kind of staring down at drinks or talking quietly to each other. There is what seems to be a goblin pinup in the flesh, who is behind the counter of the bar. Um, as you know, she basically, she's a goblin, except she has her long black hair is pulled over one eye and then pulled back into a series of braids. She has several gold piercings in her large pointed ears, heavily made up, and she is wearing uh, a a dress which is straining in its fit for her, as she is just kind of casually, giving you guys the one visible eye, and kind of sits up a bit straighter as she sees you guys walk in.
Um, uh, two drinks, please. Anything is fine. Whatever you recommend.
Uh, actually, do you want alcohol?
I don't mind. Or
By
I
all
guess,
means.
well, it's technically a job, right? Shouldn't we not be drinking?
Listen, have you seen Euphoria like not taking a drink during a job? I'm pretty sure she's taken a swig at least before one of her jobs. We can definitely do one.
Right, and we're trying to blend in, right? So feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, no, this is part of the job. This is part of the job. You can list it as like for your taxes.
The goblin kind of looks at you guys as you're having this conversation, and she goes,
Oh, sorry, we're from out of town. I don't know if you could
"I
tell.
could
and she,
tell."
which is the cat ears.
Yeah, I could tell you guys don't seem to be from around here. What is that, a Shard accent?
Yeah, you from there? You've ever been?
Oh, no, I've never been to Shard. Well, I went to Shard a few times on leave during the war, but I'm not from there.
oh, you fought during the war.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. And she kind of hops onto the bar, and she does a little, like, curtsy for you guys. She goes, Sherloon, and I am our trusty proprietor of the Glittering Goblin. I hope you appreciated the artwork out front. I made sure to spare no expense.
That a recent piece?
It's lovely.
Oh no, I've had it there for years. I made sure after
well, after we retired, it was one of the first things that I spent my pension on.
Couldn't tell. Looks like not a thing's changed from when you got it.
Yeah, raises an eyebrow.
What, I can't pay with I can't tip with a compliment here? And she fucking puts another coin down for the drink.
Well, at least you guys know how to treat a lady.
She kind of giggles and hops back down behind the bar where you see that there's like a shelf. So you normally, you have a bar, but there's like another like kind of lifted shelf that goes all the way across, presumably so that she could stand on that and still be at normal, bartender height.
Wow, incredible.
Short girls make do.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, I thought, most of the town founders, like myself, we fought for Braidland during the war. Got our retirements, and we decided to set up this little town.
Doesn't look like people are planning on staying, though, even though it was, not too long ago founded. What's up with that?
Well, it's unfortunate, but, we've come across, some desperate times. Seems like there's somebody coming with their own private army, and Braidland did feel the need to spare any garrison to help counter it, despite our pleas. So, a lot of people are planning on leaving. They're always make a new town, I guess.
But you founded this town. I'm sure you have a lot of memories to go along with that.
It's been, 15 years or so. But, what are you gonna do? We're, even with the veterans that are still around, there's only about 10 of us. And, we sent a letter to the Diane, but I don't know if that'll be enough this time.
Well, Diana, no. Sometimes, even though it's easier, starting over may not be the right answer. Right, sis?
Right. It's about picking up the pieces and working with what you have.
She kind of shrugs and goes,
Yeah, I understand. If it comes down to it, I'm gonna do everything I can to help protect as many people as possible. But I'm just one little goblin.
I used to think that I was just one little cat girl. I was just one little whatever the world saw me as. But that ain't the case for me. And I don't think that's the case for you. I mean, you didn't found this town by yourself, right?
Oh no, I followed Kenku and the rest of the warband here.
Yeah. And even though the warband got here, you've gotten more and more people, right? You weren't the ones to set up all the wood. You weren't the ones to till all the fields, but the people were, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
You guess. Well, listen. Those 15 years, that time, that energy, those memories, you're not gonna get those back if you guys all just get up and walk away. You know that, right? Deep down?
Of course, I know that, but at the same time, none of those memories really matter if everybody's dead.
Well, you could say we rolled in at a good time. We're definitely here to assist wherever we can.
What? You guys came all the way out here to help?
Yeah, we us two and a few others who maybe everyone in town will eventually get to meet. But you know that ain't gonna mean anything if people here don't want to fight too. I mean, I'm pretty strong, and she's very strong. Points at Paige, points at Kamar. But you know, it's a whole army, and every single person that does something is gonna make a difference at the end of the day.
Well, by the ancestors, if you all came in with some other fighters, well, maybe there is a hope in this world.
You think we can get around people in town, tell them maybe don't run off, but stay and help fight? I mean, I'm no general. I used to punch people in an alleyway for money, so that's a frame of reference. But I'm pretty sure anyone, even a farmer, could probably do something to help. Yeah.
Well, if that's the consensus, I'll of course spread the good word if people are actually gonna defend the place. Whatever, we always follow what Jorgen says or what Kenku says. So if they say just to stay and fight, well, I'm already committed. I don't want to have to paint a new picture.
Not have to go anywhere to commission somebody for that art. I get you. But yeah, no, stick to that. Don't just do it because someone told you to. You want to do this, so you should do it. That goes for everyone in this bar, everyone in this town, etc. and etc.
You some kind of bard? You seem to come in here with a big motivational speech.
You could call me an inspiring leader of sorts, and she's like just literally looks incredibly
Wow, that was probably
smug.
a 10-minute conversation.
I'll drink to that.
And we're gonna go around and speak louder about this over. Actually, no, yeah, I should speak to Sif, not a Shani. Whoops, a daisy. Yeah, I think if we escalate the volume of the conversation so other people in the bar hear about how we're here to help. I don't know about Kamar, but Shani is going to try to keep it on the down low that Kai-shen is in town to help them. Eventually, we do want to go looking for. We would probably ask Sherloon. The Sherloon. About
Think of it as like Saloon, but Sherloon.
Sherloon, about where we could find any craftsmen or people who work with like other materials that would be useful for our strategists.
Okay. Sounds good. Also, interesting fact about the word sure. In Mandarin, there is a famous ancient poem which is just the word sure, but because of the way it's pronounced in a tonal language in different ways, the entire poem actually makes sense. For just being sure.
God, that checks out so hard.
Language.
But yeah, so that'll be you guys. The rest of the crew going to the town hall. As you enter, it's a single story building. It's got big double doors. Inside of it, you see that there is a large, like, this man is like much like built like a Malral. He is a brick wall of a half orc. Wearing a very like dirtied suit and like little spectacles as he looks at a map next to the armored bugbear in his Brailish uniform that you know as Kenku. And there are probably another 3 to 4 various guards in the room. One of them is human, one of them is a hobgoblin, one is a half-orc, and another one is just a goblin. As they're all looking at this map, and as you guys enter, you see the half orc, in the suit kind of straightens up a bit and, readjusts his spectacles. Well, I'll be damned. They didn't shit me when they said that fucking Kai-shen was here, and he apparently brought help.
Hi.
Going to nudge Kai-shen forward to try and get him to be more confident in who he is.
Kai-shen nods, and the half orc comes up to you guys and extends out a real meat tenderizer of a fist as he goes to shake your hands.
You know that scene in Predator where Arnold
Oh.
Schwarzenegger and his friend
Yeah.
does like the flex?
Yep. You son of a
arm
bitch.
shake?
Wait, he goes, I'm Jorgen Kahl. I'm the mayor of this town. Kai-shen kind of does a eyebrow raise and goes, looking over at Kenku, and Kenku just looks at you guys and goes, democracy in action. and yeah.
Not exactly, but we are happy to be here to help with Kai-shen's endeavors.
They speak too humbly of their capabilities. I have answered your call, and they have joined me. I have fought alongside them several times. They are each capable warriors and mages in their own right.
More than a warrior, I am also a smith, one who can fabricate walls and forge many a weapons if you need.
Jogan kind of nods and goes, oh, very good, very good. Well, I'll be honest. I have to thank the hosts that you all are here. I was, you were really the last chance I had for any hope. We tried contacting the Brailish government about it, but they said they couldn't spare the resources for something so minor. Fucking kings. After all that we did fighting for them.
Politics certainly is a game played only by the winners, but we are here and we are willing to give whatever it takes to make sure that this town stays on the map. Would you mind helping us by filling us in on what exactly, or where we are in terms of the plan and what we should expect in the coming weeks?
Jogan kind of points over and gestures for Kenku to come forward, and Kenku will come forward and kind of direct you all to the map where it shows, basically it's a somewhat, crudely drawn version of the town, but you get the same overall top-down look that that Shani and Kamar had of the town. So you get the idea that there's basically a main thoroughfare and then pretty much spread out houses around that, with no like natural palisade or anything. And Kenku will kind of look up and goes, well, I know for certain we've got myself plus an additional 9 guards that I can be able to bring forth. Each of them we served together during the war. So while some of us may be a bit long in the tooth, I feel like, we should still be capable of holding weapons and fighting in formation if need be. Aside from that, probably about most of the town being potentially non-combatants.
How long exactly do we have?
What?
How long exactly do we have until the attack?
The emissary gave us a month after they had sent us the demand to surrender to Dragoon and to the king there, and his illustrious envoy, Dai-yen Jiang-ro Jin. And you see Kai-shen scowl. It's been probably about 2 weeks since we sent the letters out. And so presumably we've got about another 2 weeks left to do whatever we're going to do.
That seems enough to at least form a small militia. Simple training. Better than no training at all. Any volunteers that would take it. I can craft weapons and arms for them. Given the time, I can create about, I want to say, either a set of armor or weapon 3 times per day. 14 days remaining. So, what's 14 times 3?
42.
42. I can create about 42 weapons, 42 sets of armor, or a mixture of the two. And as well, given I have enough stone, I can create a stone wall, assuming normal about 6 inches thick, unless you want thicker or less thick, about 1,400 feet long.
Well, I can't say no to having additional arms and armor. I think that presumably if we are able to rally the people, we could probably get about another 50 militia raised. Their quality would require some work to train up. If we truly wanted to press everybody who's capable into service, we could probably get 100, but I definitely can't vouch for the quality of the extra 50. Aside from that, the rest would be non-combatants, and my suggestion would be for them to go elsewhere. Best case scenario, if you guys are as good as you're made out to be, then they should be able to return to town after our glorious victory. If not, they should be well positioned to keep running.
They do not need to be too well versed in combat. As long as they can pull a string on a bow, then they can send out volleys against the enemy. If I build this wall, if we have the stone, they can stand on top of the wall where there is cover, and they can simply shoot down at the enemy. No need to get up front and personal, less chance of attack.
What I want to know is,
Yeah.
I think we need to know a little bit more as well about dealing with. Because Kai-shen seems to think that perhaps we take him down, the rest will scatter. So, is there anything that we know about him that could help us to separate him from the others? Is he arrogant? Can he be taunted into a fight?
Kai-shen kind of looks at the map and goes, from what I remember about him, he was never what I would call a tactical genius. If he has changed little in his overall stratagems, I would imagine that he would not personally engage until he has worn through the standard hobgoblin tactic of working through the steps of essentially the steps of eliteness of the soldiers. So you lead with your initial rank and file troops. Then from there you begin to start bringing in additional support, higher elite status assets, and then finally it would be he and his clan council. It would be the best of whatever they have.
Unfortunately, we don't. It sounds like we don't really have the time or the people to be able to wait that out.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a way we could get him to act impulsively, to draw him out ahead of his numbers, I think that would be to our greatest advantage.
I don't mean to say this with any offense, but Malral, how would he react to seeing you on the battlefield?
You mean Kai-shen or?
Yes, sorry, Kai-shen.
I was like, he doesn't even know
say,
I was
about
reading
Malral.
Malral's name. I was reading
Do I know
Malral's
this
name.
person?
Is there
I
a
don't think I know
secret
this person.
backstory we don't know about?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I know this person. Let me look at my notes real quick.
Kai-shen kind of thinks about it for a second and goes, he would wish to strike me down. I think more than anything else, finish what he started.
And he wouldn't be satisfied with anybody other than himself doing it, if I had to wager a guess.
I would say he would definitely wish to deliver the killing blow.
But in the way of, he'd be okay with everybody else weakening you down. No sense of honor in that way.
Oh, entirely.
Hmm.
It is not a
Understood.
shameful thing to skillfully use your soldiers to weaken your opponent.
So your presence alone is not necessarily enough to draw him out. If anything, it would just focus on you.
Perhaps we could. It would be a long shot. I would say that, but if he would engage through the doctrinally standard approach, perhaps we could set up a intentional lore, a portion that would seem easy enough for him to access with his coterie that they could strike at me while the rest of his soldiers deal with the town. That perhaps would coax him into action, but I have no certainty into the matter.
Well, in terms of what I can offer to this whole situation, unfortunately, none of my magic is exactly capable of creation in the way that Malral can just erect buildings at whim. But I consider myself to be quite skilled in dealing with their masses, giving us as much room as we possibly can to get us that at least close to one-on-one fights that would be most advantageous to us. Euphoria, Malral, Kai-shen, do either of you have much experience in training the rank and file, potentially?
I could whip a few farmers into shape.
Kai-shen goes, I was the Diane of my clan, and had spent significant time leading them into battle and instructing them. I, of course, could provide what resources I can for that.
So I think it'd be best for you two to leave Malral to his devices, go on undistracted and...
It's a tall order to ask, though, Malral. Are you sure you're going to be okay? Is it going to drain you?
The work will be a bit hard, yes, but I think overall worth it. Depending on how thick you want the wall, I can create even longer one. The number I gave you was based on if you wanted it 10 feet tall and 6 inches thick, but if you wanted it thinner, thicker, that would affect the number. But I should still be fighting fit on the day
Good.
of. As long as you give me the raw materials for the stone, and I can just create the weapons and armor without any materials needed.
How much stone y'all got lying around?
They kind of look at each other, and Jogan kind of thinks about it for a second and goes, well, I did used to be a mine foreman before I enlisted in Braylon, so I think based on the performance of our gold mine outside, we probably have a pretty decent spoil built up. I don't know if we've got 1,400 feet of, foot, 6-inch, foot, whatever, thick wall materials, but I'm sure that one of the miners, can lead you to the spoil and you could see what you could do with it. Kenku kind of chimes in and goes, if Malral can provide the, what he said, 42 odd suits of armor or weapons, I know that Sherloon has connections outside of town with some various arms dealers. I think that she could potentially use those to get us some extra equipment to supplement it.
I don't really need the metal for the weapons armor. I can just make those. The only thing I think I would require is the stone for the wall, and that depends on exactly where you want it, how thick you want it, and how you want it laid out. However, if you do have certain armors and weapons that you do prefer, I would like a list of those so I can give the preferred ones. Like I said, if you want several bows at the top of the wall, that could be an option. Rain down volleys from above without having to need too much training.
Kai-shen chimes in and goes, Malral, would it be possible to create an intentional defect in your wall?
Yes, that is possible. I should be able to mold it as easy as you claying your hand.
Can you make it look as if it was defective or damaged or something?
We can put cracks in it, yes. I'll put supports on the other side so it doesn't actually fall from other weight, but it will have an apparent weak spot that, if smashed through, shouldn't damage the integrity of the rest of the wall.
What are you thinking, Kai-shen?
I'm thinking that if we create an intentional weakness in our defenses, we can use it as a way of channeling forces. It is natural to assume that the ultimately best course for the attacking force is the path of least resistance. If perhaps while other portions of the defenses are being engaged, we could be able to create an opening that would allow for exploitation, might be a way to direct Jiang-ro and his coterie away from the main defenses.
Like a funnel.
In essence. But it would have to be subtle enough that it would not come off as an obvious trap, nor be so obvious that he would simply direct the main army to strike there. He likely has his own Xinyi who will be doing battlefield reconnaissance.
But I'm certain that they wouldn't expect much more than slapdash defenses from this small town.
That's true. They might be a little alarmed if suddenly there was an impervious stone wall around it.
Perhaps if we put the town, or if we put the cracks on the opposite side of where they come from, that would be logically follow that would be the point that we put the least effort into.
I think that could work. I feel like regardless, we will have to deal with the town's defenses on the side towards the Clan Jin will still have to resist the first wave. But I think if we have weaknesses in the opposite side, the Xinyi will see that and relay it back to Jiang-ro, and he will proceed to launch a surprise operation to try and strike me down and seize the honor.
You military folk are certainly something. Can't say I've ever been a part of a discussion like this. It's kind of exciting, isn't it?
Plan. Following the plan. That's the hard thing.
Yes. It's the only politics or kind of roundtable discussions like this were about what to have at balls back in the Feywild. Not exactly important discussions.
You were fortunate then that you did not have to serve in as many war councils as I did.
There's a lot of things that I pride myself in with my upbringing, and I'm beginning to learn exactly how fortunate that was.
We also have 2 additional personnel that have come with us. They are a skilled mage and an incredible warrior. They would also be helpful in the defenses. Although they are not here currently, I believe they are scouting out the rest of the town, making their observations. Kenku nods. Jogan will kind of chime in and go, all right, so it sounds like we've got Malral, is it?
That is right.
Malral, it will be working on investigating the spoil, constructing a wall, and preparing some weapons or armor. I believe that Miss Euphoria, Miss Euphoria will be assisting the Dai Yen. And Kai-shen goes, you do not have to call me that. I am no longer a Dai Yen. Sorry, old habits die hard. Lord Zhao suffice. And Kai-shen kind of rolls his eyes. Lord Zhao and Euphoria will be caring about the training of the militia. And is there something that you think you and your other companions can do? As he looks over at Illya.
You know,
I
I'm
don't
not
mean
exactly...
that to be insulting.
No, I understand. Not exactly built for planning ahead in this way. I can promise you a nice display of firepower, or rather ice power, on the day of, but allow me to reconvene with our other compatriots we will assist the others as needed to expedite the process.
Well, darling, if anything, I think with your sense of charisma, I think it'd be good to rally the morale of the people who want to stay.
Very thoughtful. I suppose I shall.
You did good bringing hope to the kids. Let's see how you do with adults.
Thoughts are entirely another thing.
All right, well, if your friends want to come, meet the cast of characters, then they're always welcome to. I'm sure that in the coming weeks, assuming you stick around, I'll have plenty of chances to meet them.
We'll be in close contact, and please, it's not a big town. You'll know where to find us.
He chuckles. He goes, I'm sure I will. Well, may the host watch over you. We're gonna need all the help we can get. And with that, you guys can conclude your pre-war council and meet back up at your previous location where the kitties are, having left the Glittering Goblin at some point.
Only one drink.
Just one. We just had one.
Just one, to make it
The
look
glass-
like long there,
The glasses may have been Goliath-sized, but, just one.
Well, girls, what'd you find?
As
What?
long as the lead. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
No. You go.
You sure? You can use your words. It's okay, Kamar.
I'm sorry. We had a drink. We're good.
Cocks an eyebrow at her.
Why
Kai-shen
did you
also cocks an eyebrow at them.
everything else, but you snitched on us?
Okay, doing some serious work, I see. What'd you find out?
The people. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
God.
yes. Yeah. So we found some founders for this town, and it seems that they're interested in trying to help us out.
That's great.
People in general seem like they'll fight as long as the leaders of the war band decide to fight. But we didn't tell anybody Kai-shen was in town. I mean, they worship and revere the guy, but I think if they fight for this town, their morale would be a lot better if they simply decided to fight it for their home for their own sake, rather than a guy who's like never gonna be here. No offense, Kai-shen. You have your own life to live.
Well, don't know how
I'm
to
not
respond
about
to
to. I'm not about to put propaganda posters with Kai-shen's face all over it, but a small town hero can do a lot of good for morale. I think it'd be good for everyone to see for themselves that, there's someone here to give them a bit of hope.
And considering the fact that they admire him so, who wouldn't want to have a lesson or two about how to fight from their hero?
That is true. I mean,
You all greatly overflate my worth.
I mean, this is not a big town, yet they have a large statue of your face here.
Yeah,
Look at how they
Kai-shen.
talk about you. They adore you, Kai-shen. And
Listen,
it's okay to admit that.
Listen, Kai-shen, it's fine. You know, Spike also has a statue. You're on the same level as him. You can be a little special about it. You can be egotistical about it. It's okay.
I'm glad your hobgoblin companion is at the same
my
tier
God.
as your
Dog
gooey
tier.
fucking jacket dog.
They both impacted their communities, okay? We love Spike, we love Kai-shen, alright? So don't undersell yourself. Listen, we can muster up all the morale we can, and like I said, I'd prefer it if the people, fight for themselves because they value themselves, but they need someone to look up to, and it probably isn't going to be anybody else here but you.
I'll do what I must. We were discussing some plans for potential defense of the town. Malral will be constructing fortifications as well as additional equipment, and Euphoria and myself have volunteered to train any militia we may have. Is there anything in particular that you think you can do to assist?
Out of character, did he ask that to Shani or like
To both
the
of you.
room?
You, the two people who weren't there, is who he
Got
asked.
it. I could probably teach people how to fight and how to do like I don't know. I think usual Sharn tactics would be good here. Like caltrops would probably be useful. I'm not gonna teach kids how to use daggers. So Shani will help with dirty fighting tactics and teaching people how to fight too.
Okay.
Using Kai-shen as a poster child? No way. Teaching children how to fight? Absolutely.
Yep.
Those kids gotta fight for themselves. Kai-shen ain't gonna be there for them when they need him most.
If there's two people that support teaching children how to defend themselves, it's Euphoria and Kai-shen. Kamar, what are you gonna volunteer to do with your big brain?
oh goodness. Can definitely help if there's need for like refortifying if Malral needs any help with that, or I guess spreading the news about Kai-shen in the area.
Okay.
You wouldn't happen to have a stone shape, would you? Or a wall of stone?
I don't, but I have these. She kind of flexes sadly.
I got these
massive
guns.
crossbows.
I've got a good -1. Oh, honey.
Oh, our little wizard.
Also, Kai-shen.
I was hoping because I was looking at wall of stone. I was like, "Fuck, I can't get it," but a wizard can.
If anyone has
Kai-shen.
roles in this town.
Are there any neighboring towns that could potentially have people be rallied to the cause? Or are we truly alone in this?
If there were others who would have answered the call, they would be here.
Mm.
We are the last hope of desperate people.
So if you don't know what else to do, I mean, even if there's not any practitioners of magic here, I'm sure there's a kid or two that could learn a firebolt, yeah?
It
I mean,
seems
you
like a
casted your first spell when you were like, what, 8?
Yes. I mean, giving there's a lot of liability that comes with that. I guess that's fine though.
That
If
was the
anyone's willing to
university
learn.
taught you.
We're not at the university. It's okay to teach a kid to stab somebody.
It is the Sharn way.
They have Shard has a big, turn knives into books policy run by the city watch.
No, it's the stab or get stabbed policy.
Down in the lower streets, you gotta keep a knife in your book as a bookmark just in case.
Yeah, everybody. I just imagine like at the beginning of Blazing Saddles, everybody drawing the pistols on him. It's just everybody whips out knives. Standard Shard. The city that is in fact based on New York, so it all checks out.
Yep. This is canon. This is canon.
It's canon. It is now become canon. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, so with that, we will have I'm actually gonna start off with Kamar on this one.
Oh, go ahead.
You are you're gonna get pointed to by Kai-shen at some point. And you see some gruff looking fellas, real dirty types with like pickaxes and stuff rolling up on you.
Oh, okay.
And a big bugbear looks down at you and she goes, "Are you the mage?"
Oh, yes, I am. How can I help you?
Good, you might be useful for this. We're going to the mines to show your friend Malral our spoil, but I do know we have some glyph blasting charges there. Perhaps you can be able to set them up or something. They're magically activated.
Oh, that's certainly something I can do. Yes, I'll be happy to help.
Excellent. We're happy to have you. She sprishes your hair with her hand. But yeah, so Malral and Kamar are going to get led to the mines outside of town. They're a couple hours outside of town. But you do see that there's a sizable spoil, maybe not like 1,400-foot wall like long, but you could probably get about half of that with just the available like already pulled off like stone and waste rocks and stuff without having to have people like mine more rocks for you, which of course they can do, but that would take a different set of efforts. But so that's what you have there, Malral.
Creative solution. I could also take the very stone of the earth underneath it and kind of form that into the wall as well.
So like what is the actual like town parts and ripping the stone out of that?
Holy shit, he's an earthbender.
I know, I was about to say we
Oh
earthbend in
my
here.
More or less, it's basically just earthbending. It's literally just shaping earth however I want it.
What level spell stone shape?
It is 4th level, and as long as it's I can do it in 5 foot by 5 foot increments, but in that 5 foot square of stone, I can shape however I want.
Okay.
And if it's 2 weeks, then I have basically 4 spell slots every day I can use. Times that by 14 is, I believe, 280, and then 280. Basically, I'm making it only 6 inches and 10 foot tall, so about 1,400 feet of wall.
Science, bitch.
Science.
So yeah, I'm gonna say like for available rock and stuff, because you need to touch the stone object, so you can't truly like earthbend it, because there's a lot of stuff on top of stone for what is in the town itself. But you can safely get the 700 feet just based on already loose material. If you wish to divert potentially people from militia duty to do mining stuff, they could be able to get you the rest of the rock to make the 1,400 foot one. So that will pause on that just because that's probably a group decision you want to make.
Yeah, I was about to say that's more up to them whether they want more fighters on the field or, like I said, less trained militia that would likely just be up on the walls, just shooting bows and arrows down.
But yeah, so Kamar, you will get directed as a different set of miners show Malral all the waste rock. The bugbear lady is going to take you over to a couple boxes where you look inside of them, and there are a whole bunch of rune plates that appear to be glyphs of warding that are used for industrial blasting purposes. So he goes, presumably you could be able to do something with these, right?
I think I can work with it, yeah. Shouldn't be too difficult. I'm gonna kind of approach them, and could I do just like a general like arcana check on them?
Sure.
Or
Sure.
Okay. 14.
Okay. Yeah, they do appear to be several dormant glyphs of warding. You believe you're able to figure out, in the command phrases to basically prime them. With your skill, you'll have to make another Arcana check when you get to that situation. But if you have people basically set them up, you could probably make a minefield out of them. It's only one off because it's a minefield, but it could potentially, tear apart some of the assets or at least disrupt their flow.
Fantastic. Right. And how big are they? Are we able to? Do I need help to grab them and to set them
it's
up?
a big box, so your Mega Flex 8 strength is probably going to need some help to bring it over. There are miners, because unlike the rest of the rock, it's only like a one trip thing. It's only a couple boxes.
Gotcha. I want to. Can I?
You want to Hulk out? You want to make a raw athletics check to try and
Yeah,
solo it?
I'm gonna make an athletics.
All
check.
right, I'd love to see this. Let me solo her, Cat Edition.
Okay, so 12.
Okay, okay. You didn't fail.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Yeah. I will let you flex. You are a strong, independent woman who don't need no man and can carry all of your landmines by yourself.
Thank you very much. She's kind of puffing a little bit, but she's going.
All right, so you're gonna lug that back. We'll go with your girl Illya, rallying the masses. People will ensure that eventually people will come to do this meeting or whatever. Jogan can basically call a town meeting, try and get as many people as possible, and
Oh dear God.
I hope you're ready to motivate.
Oh God, I'm not. I wasn't
Public
expecting.
speaking, let's go.
Let's go, public
Come on,
speaking.
charisma class. Come on.
I should
was-
have been a wizard.
I was just saying in chat, I'm like, technically I could trance and just relearn my crossbow and bow shit and teach people how to do that. But charisma time.
Yep. You are the next step in this because you determine how many people are going to be trained.
Oh God.
No pressure. No
pressure.
You will have advantage because you have Kai-shen there.
So is
Or-
Kai-shen like standing with me while
Yeah,
this
or
is
you can
going
be
on?
extra spicy, not use the Kai-shen bonus to try
No.
and really motivate people.
Oh my God.
How spicy do you want to be?
I don't think she would hide Kai-shen because, Kai-shen is going to be teaching them. But I think she would just kind of just take a second. All right. Let's do our best to make up a motivational speech off the
Top of your head.
top of my head. How many people are here? Let me ask that.
There is the whole town. All 200 people staring
Was it-
directly at Illya.
That's what I was thinking, is about 200. Well, it pleases me to see all of you here in the face of such adversity. Now, you may not know me, but I have been fighting alongside Kai-shen for many months now. And when he spoke that he would be returning home to this place, to defend it to the very last, we knew instantly that we would be with him the whole way. And while I don't exactly have the full details of everything that's gone on in this town or the history of this, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that you are in capable hands here. All of us, myself, Malral, Shani, Kamar, Euphoria, and of course Kai-shen, we are here for you in this time of need. And that may not mean that much, but trust me when I say that we have faced worse than this. We have fought the Ashbringers. We have made a difference in many people's lives, and surely this spot here will be the very same. As we look forward to the coming weeks, we're going to have to make some difficult choices. Some difficult and strong-willed choices. Any of you that is well enough to pull a bowstring, swing a sword, or even hold a line would be more than we can ask for here. And I'm not asking you to do this for Kai-shen. I'm asking you to do it for the home that you have and for the people that you love. These people that come to this town to destroy it don't understand how much a home can mean to people and how it being ripped away can be so difficult on a person. So when I say that we can come together as a town and the bonds between us can become more than that anger, than that power that they so foolishly wield. I know that I'm speaking the truth. And I know that we will make this one glorious battle that I'm certain you will tell your children, your grandchildren, and hopefully your great-grandchildren about. So, with that in mind, I expect nothing but the best, because I know that that's what we will have. And Illya will kind of bow and back away.
Make a persuasion roll with advantage.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. It's prompting me another thing. 25.
25. Wowza.
I'm good at this.
Okay. Yeah. With that, you hear the town, starts roaring, and you hear the whole like, yeah, we can do this. We can defend this. We can win. This is a fight worth fighting for. Yeah. And yeah, you do believe you can rally a full 100 available personnel to the defense of this town. You achieved the maximum possible people that you could get, and
Hell yeah.
because they're so motivated, the second 50 don't have a drop in quality. They're just as good as the first incompetent 50.
I blacked out and let the spirit of leadership take over. So let's go.
Oh.
Leadership take the wheel. All right. So hell yeah, people are motivated. Yeah, honestly, at this point, the biggest issue is just giving them all equipment. Sherloon can, it'll take a week to get additional supplies. But if Malral still goes about producing his set of supplies, you think between the two of them, you can actually probably equip all of them if you decide to use all 100 for militia defense. Which is now when we come to the group discussion of, do you wish to use half of the available resources to extend the wall's availability, or do you wish to use them as militia? So discuss.
If y'all decide to skimp out on weapons, I mean, I was planning on teaching how to fight with anything to, people that wouldn't normally be able to fight anyways, like kids, the elderly, untrained combatants. So I can take on a few more people who are unarmed if you guys don't really have that as an option.
Much as I hate to say it, I think we should save proper weaponry for those who can wield it.
Yeah, and I figured, don't worry, I'm gonna teach them how to fight in a way that suits us non-traditional combatants.
Rough and tumble combatants.
You could say rough and tumble. Don't worry about it. As long as Euphoria and Kai-shen are not there to judge how I judge my fighting style, I'm good.
Hey, if it keeps them alive, I'm not about to judge anybody.
I certainly think that they would believe in your ability to fight enough that you could teach people that as well.
It's more so like I'm sure they know that I can fight. Like Euphoria and Kai-shen have definitely seen me eviscerate a man before, but like when I say I'm teaching people who don't fight how to fight, I mean I'm teaching them how I used to fight when I wasn't, able to, break a chair in half just by looking at it,
Listen, Shani, you being able to fight like that back then bought you enough time to live and get to where you are today. So, if those same fighting skills can ensure the survival of someone else, you're doing a good thing, and no one's going to judge you for that.
Cool. I'm gonna teach them the dirtiest fighting there is then.
That's what I like to hear.
So it sounds like we're good at using the rest of the material for the defense for fortifications, right?
Okay, so does that mean you're gonna use the 50 people to finish the defenses and concentrate on the initial 50?
I believe so.
I think so. Yes.
Okay, that was what I needed to know.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, with that Malral, by getting the miners under your tutelage to start harvesting as much stone as possible, and the additional people that Illya was able to rally to your side, you can finish all 1,400 feet worth of defensive works. So that is, because you guys will be able to do things on a week by week basis. So this is all the stuff for the first week. The defensive and producing more armor and equipment, as Malral has already said, is going to extend across both weeks, which will basically lock down the stuff that he can do, because he is doing a lot.
He's carrying us.
Yeah, so week 1, Euphoria, and Shani pick a skill to justify as your tutelage skill to teach people how to fight better or be more prepared for combat.
I think for Euphoria, because I think she's gonna think that there's gonna be no better swordsman instructor than Kai-shen.
Mm-hmm.
She instead is going to focus on how to not get hit. So that's her specialty, is reading your enemy's attack so that way you can effectively dodge it.
Okay. So is that a perception, or what are you?
Let's say I would almost, if I could say that as acrobatics,
Okay, I'll allow
dodging out of the way.
I'll allow it.
I'm debating between deception and intimidation, but they're both the same bonus. So I will go with deception.
Okay.
Yeah.
So make your rolls.
At neutral, right?
Yeah, if you did the same as another person, you could either roll separately or you could give one person advantage, but you're all doing different stuff.
I got a 26.
Natural 20!
What? You asked for a critical, Sif.
Quick, guys, keep calling me a cat girl. It's working.
So, are you gonna try and, scare the fear of God in them, or bamboozle them into believing that they could do this?
With my deception.
So you ended up rolling deception? Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your total with the nat 20?
25.
Ooh, spicy.
I'm down to flavor text it.
Okay.
Because I'm not trying to gaslight them. Yeah.
To girl boss, gatekeep, and gaslight.
No, I teach them how to gaslight. See, look at me. Listen to me. I'm a very pretty, small, cute girl. You wouldn't think of me capable of doing much. And then she fucking punches a wagon, and there's a massive crater in it. You see, what I just did there was let you all make a judgment based on your impression of me. And I have been doing that all of my life since I was a kid to get away with shit that nobody would expect it. Now, all of you, you're all people that the elders deemed incapable of fighting. You're infirmed, or you're too young, or you're too old. Great. Other people can make that shitty assumption. What you're gonna do is, once they show you any slight amount of mercy, you're gonna... And then Shani does the fucking Chainsaw Man thing of, I only go for the nuts on the training dummy. Yeah.
We love the ball-kicking devil in this household.
Yeah. Listen, you're gonna do whatever it takes to win. You see, Kai-shen, Euphoria, the rest of the warband, they might preach about honor, but you and I, we all know that what matters is winning, surviving, so that you can feel better later. So, just focus on whatever opportunities y'all can use to fucking win. You can deal with the trauma of murdering people at a later time.
You'll love to
It's
see
worth it if you live.
Yep.
I dealt with it eventually.
Okay. Yeah. So we've got, predicting their moves. We've got bamboozling them, and Kai-shen actually doing like traditional like discipline and like combat strategy and stuff, where he is drilling them with a 24 on his athletics check.
God damn, he's drilling them?
Yep.
Hey, yo.
This is a very effective boot camp.
Yep. So you guys are doing a hell of a job, whipping these people into shape on week 1 for the core 50. Our little Kamar, if you're back, could you please make a Arcana check?
Arcana check, that I can do. 15?
15?
Why am I rolling so bad today?
Oof. Sif stole all your luck. All right.
I didn't do shit.
So with a 15 on Arcana, you think that you can probably, you're basically trying to set up the mines as best you can, with your, unfamiliarity with obviously combat wizard engineering, and using glyphs of warding in this manner. Your field is going to be a bit more unfocused than it could be otherwise. So it's basically a bit more concentrated in one particular area of the defenses, rather than being kind of spread throughout other areas to try and funnel people. But you are able to successfully set them up. It's just not as effective as it may have been otherwise. If you want, in week 2, you can try correcting it to just try and get a more effective way, or you could do something else. But that is up to you.
I would definitely want to try to see if I can make it as good as possible.
You don't want to be embarrassed in front of everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that in mind, you guys have 1 week of all expenses paid, i.e., you've got room and board at the Glittering Goblin, as you guys each are doing your own respective means of preparing this town. And these militia are getting kind of whipped into shape, man. They're getting a little competent. They, depending on how well you guys roll, they get minor buffs to their stat line. But you guys did pretty well, so they actually got a pretty decent boost from that. So you will now get to know the town really well over the course of this week, especially because you meet pretty much everybody. So you're now all familiar with like the main cast of people, which, you've got Jogan, who is the mayor, who is an ex mine foreman turned Brailish soldier turned politician. And you've got Kenku, who is the head of he's the town marshal who leads the town guards, and he is also a Brailish veteran along with the rest of the town guards, and they are providing additional training assistance to you guys. You've got Sherloon, everybody's favorite goblin quartermaster. You do find out, over the course of the week that she had served in the warband as it was called a Lunyi, which is basically a logistics and quartermaster, where she was famous for being able to procure basically just about anything. No questions asked being like the key asterisks attached to it. So she is going to basically try and use what is left of the town money to go get some equipment brought in to fully supply, because Malral is providing either weapons or armor for them, and so she will provide the other half of that. And there is not currently an active priest here, nor are there any other like worthy of note like arcane practitioners or divine practitioners. They're mostly just normal people or normal marshals. So your party is exceptional in the amount of magic it has in its fingertips. Um, do you have any questions or anything in particular you'd like to do aside from your direct defensive preparations during the first week?
Does this include like downtime stuff?
Yeah, if you want to chat with people, we'll say this is the downtime part. So if you're not doing defensive stuff, this is something you wish to do over the course of that week. I'll go person by person on it. So starting with Euphoria.
At some point, she would like to have a one-on-one with Kai-shen.
Okay. So Euphoria and Kai-shen. Illya, if you're here.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I think Illya would mostly spend their downtime kind of just like what I'm imagining that they've done is the staff that they have, that's like essentially just like a tree branch. They just kind of have it like in the center, like not in like the center of town, like where Kai-shen statue is, but like in like a little park, and are kind of just like meditating beside it, just like trying to connect with the energy as much as possible out in this sort of like desolate place.
Okay.
Just, channeling magic stuff. Making people look at them and be like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? That's pretty fucking rad. And,
when the kids aren't learning to stab people, many kids will be really, kind of interested in you because, they've likely never seen a mage, period, much less a mage of your caliber. And so they'll think it's pretty fucking cool.
Being a fae and all.
Yeah.
We're pretty cool.
You're also probably the only fae they've ever seen.
Yeah.
This is like a very small town of mostly goblinoids.
I'm very weird. Let's go.
Malral, what about your downtime?
I don't think I have any.
Yep, that checks out actually. Between wall work and making equipment, you are very much locked out.
You could make a request for someone to come talk to you while you're spellcasting.
Yeah, you could always have somebody hang out with you.
While the weapons I make don't require any materials, they're still an hour each, and I can do that 3 times per day. So that's at least 3 hours out of my day gone. The spells are more instantaneous, but they're just...
The actual shaping takes a while.
Yeah.
You don't have to overthink it. I mean, you don't have to like justify the time. If you listen, man, if you want to hit on the hot goblin short stack, just go for it.
One of us has to. We can't let this opportunity go to waste.
I don't think he has the time.
That's okay, because I think Kamar will go and help Malral when it's my turn.
If I could hit on the hot goblin, I would, but I'm busy going to war. Yeah. I'll get a beer with him afterwards.
Yeah. Kamar, what are you going to be doing?
She's actually going to be like kind of not really assisting Malral, but wants to like make sure he's eating lunch and like bringing him like food, and if he gets a little exhausted, she has like a little rag that she can help him with. So she's gonna hang out with Malral.
Okay.
Actually.
So Kamar hangs out with Malral as he crafts. Shani, what do you want to do, Shani?
I want to talk to big local hero Kai-shen.
Should this be a separate talk from Euphoria? Euphoria, you want a one-on-one?
Yeah, I can wait till after. We can do it separate.
No. You go first. You go first. But yes, I would preferably like a one-on-one.
Okay. So we'll start with that. Give your girl Kamar and Malral some time to think of what they would like to discuss as they hang out. And Shani, so you wish to talk to local hero, currently shirtless Kai-shen, after training people all day. You're muted if you're talking.
Oh yeah, me. Sorry. I confused Shani and Kamar in my head. Hold on a second.
Your character, Shani.
Other cat girls, don't look at me. I'm assuming I can take Kai. Like I'm assuming Kai-shen.
Said it. Sif said it.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. So he's just basically unwinding it someday.
No, Kai-shen, you got a moment?
Yes, of course, Shani. What is it? As he stands up and takes a towel to blot off the sweat. You see his many gold tattoos over scars and everything, and the giant scar across his stomach and back.
It's okay, Obs. I'm immune to the thirst trap in this character
I
art.
just have to describe it. People appreciate it.
Yeah, you have to. I get you. I know you never really talked to us about what happened before you joined us and before everything that happened in Sean, but is the reason why you paint because of your brother and your old clan and the rest of your family? I mean, I know some of it's due to the family that you've told us about, but yeah.
I always found painting very relaxing. I was never terribly good at it, but I found its worth as a way to decompress after the many trials that go into being the upbringing that I had. I have also explained that that is our way of remembering. We do not write history books or anything like that. We contain our histories in the art that we craft and the tales that it contains. So when there isn't anybody left to remember, there isn't anybody left to record what happened, then it is as if it no longer exists and perhaps never did. I continue to do it, as you may have seen in my room, because my family, I'm the only one who has their stories left. I have done all I can to memorialize it for the future so that even when I'm gone, that perhaps they can still exist in some way, shape, or form. My son was actually a very capable painter, despite his age. I frankly had a lot of faith in him that after his clan ascension, that he would become a records keeper and archivist of sorts in our clan, be able to memorialize our legacy. But he obviously that didn't come to pass. So I guess part of it is I just don't want them to be forgotten. And while my life has had little value since then compared to theirs, I feel like recording it will at least be something to show that it meant something. That's why I paint.
So it's not just to make you feel better, but because you feel like you need to keep them around. I hope it's more therapeutic than it sounds, Kai. But listen, you know this, I miss my mom and my dad. But do you think my life is worth any less now that they're not around?
it is a different scenario in my eyes.
See, I don't really see the difference. I mean, we both lost people we loved dearly. We both feel like a part of our lives that we could have had, experiences that we deserved, were taken from us. Families that we should have gotten to experience things with. It'll never happen, but I still found the value in my life to push forward and make new memories, to accept the family I came into having. And I know things are different in your culture, but maybe, and she like grabs both his hands and like holds them in hers. Maybe these hands don't just have to preserve the past, they could forge the future. And I don't know. I just don't want you thinking that after we defeat your brother, after we close this chapter on your life, that you should just aimlessly go about not thinking about what your next chapter is going to be. You made those paintings not just to preserve your family, but because you yourself have the ability to make things. You don't have to stop making new things just because you missed the old ones. You can do both.
I know that you mean to be consoling and supportive, and I do not intend for this to come off as dismissive, but your pain, while deeply profound to you, is distinguishable from mine to me. My family was killed because of me. My own brother slaughtered them in front of me as he left me to die. That is something that I have to deal with, that I am responsible for. It was not an act of God or arbitrary circumstance that took them from me. It was because of my life. And while I'm sure in your culture the lives of your parents are deeply connected to you, you were not a parent. You did not have to see your children, your hopes, your faith in the future taken from you directly in front of you, never to be returned again, to know that their stories are done and gone. While my life will continue, for I do not intend to throw it away, the only thing that matters to me is righting this wrong, not for myself, but for my family. Perhaps that is some small gesture I can do to make things right with them, so that they can be given the afterlife they deserve. And when I die, if I am ever so lucky, I will be able to see them once more. And the stories I will tell them will make the eons pass by in moments. So I wish you to know that I appreciate your sentiments, although I do not agree with the conclusions that you draw. There is no life for me beyond the next day and the day beyond that, until Jiang-ro is dead, or I am in turn. That is all.
I get that, but I'm talking about after, because, I mean, we're definitely going to beat him. No doubt in my mind. We've got too much to do to let it all end here. And I don't just mean saving Silonia. But when everything is done, when the dust is settled, I don't want my life to just be this. And I think deep down, you might not either. After we kill your brother, after we do everything, you don't just have to sit around and wait for death to find you. You'll have a hell of a better story to tell if you go around making a new one. That's all.
We shall confront that battle when we face it.
Alright, I see you trying to weasel out of this topic. Alright, Kai-shen, but I'm gonna be on you like a hawk after everything's over.
I expect nothing less.
Good. Now take a shower. I think I saw Euphoria looking for you and, Actually, you know what? She might appreciate you looking like that. Never mind, don't change a damn thing.
He kind of shakes his head. So noted, Shani.
I'll talk to you later, Kai-shen.
Euphoria. You come up.
Wow,
post-shower.
so glad I gotta follow that up.
Yep. You get to roll up post shower.
Sweet.
So you see, Kai-shen's, normally braided hair is hanging damp and down around his shoulders with a towel.
I can come back at a later time if you need to get decent.
What do you mean? I am decent.
Very good. You down to talk?
Of course, it seems that it is a day of resolutions and heart-to-hearts.
Oh, is that so? I thought I saw Shani around here.
She is ever hopeful for things that she does not truly understand. Perhaps with age, she will see.
Maybe. But I think a little bit of youthful optimism helps to counter out us curmudgeonly old folks.
He goes, perhaps. To me, it just appears to be foolish notions without realism. But I admit I do not fully understand Sharn culture.
I don't always necessarily understand what comes out of that girl's mouth, but I know that she always means well. Her heart's in the right place.
That is true. I can say that I do not fault her ideals, even if I may find them unrealistic. Kind of sits down on a bench next to you and stuff. Body glistening with the water.
Thank you, DM. Thank you for the visual.
Yep.
This whole situation, this week, this day, it's it's a little familiar. You and I training people.
Oh, I do not recall us ever training anyone aside from perhaps meeting in the dojos.
I know. When we were gone in the Feywild that last time, in a manner of speaking, kind of, guess you could say, a visage of you, someone like you. And we worked together. we did exactly this. I know it seems strange to talk to you about it now, considering that, it wasn't really you. It made me think of you. And I wanted to repeat some sentiments that I shared back then, if you've a mind to hear them. I know you've probably gotten an earful already.
I am interested to hear what you said that was so enlightening to this Fey apparition version of me. I hope that they were just as proficient as I was, at least.
And fighting, most certainly, you bested me. But I talked about control and how I act a certain way that others might deem inappropriate because it's a matter of my life that I think I can control. If I break someone else's heart, first, they don't get the opportunity to break mine. And as for you, I deduced that you keep people at arm's length in an effort to control the fear of losing anyone again. And you might call this presumptuous of me. But I think if you give people that are here now a chance, it's okay to let yourself be happy again. Even if just for a little bit. And if you find that I'm talking out of my ass and making assumptions that I shouldn't, I know that you want to see your family again. And I'm not about to tell you that's wrong. I have to ask that you don't let your brother end your life too quickly. And even after we beat him, that you don't let the love of your family distract you from what you could have now. You're gonna see him again, but just not yet, okay?
Takes a deep sigh as he kind of pushes back some hair that fell in front of his face back behind his ear. I see that your time interacting with me amongst the Fae was enlightening.
You might say that. And I know it must feel awfully uncomfortable for someone to know these things about you. We haven't known each other very long. And I don't want to wedge myself into your life in places that I'm not meant to be. But I just wanted to you know, you've got something really good here. And that's okay. It's okay to be scared, to lose them. I know I am.
Takes a deep sigh. Do you know that I used to never feel fear in my life? I've always known my place in the world and my purpose. I was a warrior. I was selected to be one after my clan ascension, and I was quite capable at it. And I was never afraid, for I had the certainty of purpose. They used to call me the Lord of Shrikes. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yes, I felt like it was a foolish name, but it at least served effective purposes for garnering a reputation. A shrike is a bird that proceeds to impale still living prey upon thorns and spikes while it eats them alive. They said it was a fitting description based on when foes would try to clash against my weapons, and would always be stopped in their tracks and impaled while still alive. That was the reason for the affectation of that particular armor style you saw in the statue.
Quite the fearsome reputation.
It serves a purpose. It is good to have a reputation for the skill and brutality that you can inflict on your foe, for it may break their spirit faster and you may be able to finish the fight with fewer bloodshed and fewer men on both sides brought low before you. But even as the Lord of Shrikes, I was not afraid. When I met my wives, I realized that I was incorrect about my purpose. I was not born to fight, to be a Dai. I was born to meet them and give them everything I possibly could. And every day, from the moment that they approached me for marriage, I was afraid. I was afraid that I would be unable to protect them when the time came, for they deserved so much more than I could ever give them. They gave me love and support beyond my wildest dreams. They gave me my beautiful children, who I only compounded my terror for the future, and that there would come a day when I would be insufficient for my purpose. And when, all those years ago, Jiang-ro did what he did, I saw the validation of fears that had been building upon themselves for many years. I saw when the time truly counted, I was not enough. I couldn't protect them. And they deserved better than what I could ever have given them. And after that, I was no longer afraid anymore. I had nothing left for purpose. I was no longer a warrior. I was no longer their husband and father. I was just a ghost. It's been wandering this world ever since. And my fear is that when the time comes, some despite his face remaining very stern and stoic, he does have tears flowing down his cheeks. When the time comes, I will once again be insufficient for the task.
No one could have given as much as you did. As parents, we try to protect our families from the world. We try to shelter our children, but we can't. And that's a lesson hard learned. But something else that I learned is that those times when you feel small, when you feel insufficient, it's better to have someone to help pick you back up. Or if you fall, to carry on where you left off. We knew what we were getting into when we decided to come with you. And we know what that means. It's not because we didn't think that you could do it on your own, but it's because we want you to succeed. And we'll do what we can to ensure that happens.
It's months ago I swore my life to them for them pulling me out of where I was serving the Baramar after I destroyed what was left of my clan because of what they were willing to let happen and not resist and not do what was right and honorable. Everything that I had built over my life, I dismantled. And I didn't feel like I had anything left to give. I did not wish to see you all come here because I did not wish for you to see if I was insufficient and that I, after losing everything and regaining some small fragment of it, I still wasn't enough. Even with all of your skills and prowess, that I still was that man who couldn't protect anyone. And once again, my brother would be standing in front of me. This time, the last time.
It's awful frightening showing your underbelly, huh? But you know, you could have stopped us from coming if you really wanted to.
Kind of side eyes you and puts a hand on your shoulder and goes, "Do you genuinely believe that?"
I think you're strong enough you could have. I think, despite your fears, despite what you're telling me, I think there's a small little voice, a little inkling that's ready to expose that soft underbelly. At least to us.
Kind of sighs and goes, "At this point, I have nothing left. You are here now, and if I fail at this point, there will be no concern about showing my fear, as you would likely also be dead, which I guess is some solace."
True. If we all die, there's nothing to fear. But perhaps some of that youthful optimism has rubbed off on me a little bit. But I like to think that we'll see past this next week. And us old folks will have to figure out what to do next.
When the time comes, it'll be the first time in many years where I will have the burden of that luxury.
It's a new kind of fear. Figuring out what to do when you've got nothing left. But sometimes when you think you've got nothing left to give, you surprise yourself. Even if it takes a little while. You see, I always told myself, and she sort of taps the scar on her jawline. I always told myself that I would never love another man. And while I've technically upholded that, who knows? That might change. I don't discount what might happen tomorrow.
Kai-shen looks at you, looks at the scar, and looks back at you and goes, "I'm going to say this because I have in fact met him, but your ex-husband was a fool. He did not realize your true worth. If he did, he would have never let you go."
That's awful sweet of you.
But
Wow.
perhaps it was simply his failure that has paved the way for more promising endeavors.
Well, I guess we'll find out in a week, huh? And she'll she'll lean in, give him a very stealthy, like, little peck on the temple, and she'll get up to go.
You actually see him do, the slightest stone crack of a smile as he's kind of got his legs spread and his hands behind him on the bench as he looks up at you as you walk away, and he goes, "Remember, if you're in the concern of me divulging my secrets and fears, you've got 1 week to, of course, divulge your own sentiments to your own particular concern. I believe that she's tall and blue."
That's a fear that I'm unraveling. But yeah, that's a new one.
I guess you just need some of that youthful optimism.
Yeah, well, the girls did say that it's high time for me to take her on a proper date. Maybe you'd like to come.
Kind of makes a coughing scoff and goes, "In a week, we can revisit this. It will either be at the front of our priorities or it will no longer be a concern."
So it's a date then. You have a good night.
As he watches Euphoria leave. All right, last but not least, we've got Kamar and Malral. Kamar, is there anything you want to chit-chat with Malral about? Or vice versa?
Yeah. So, well, Kamar's going to be starting off by making a little lunch in the form of what is famously known throughout the party as grilled cheese. Yeah, it's become kind of a staple piece. And like a little rag that she can help and kind of walk over to Malral as he's either working on weapons or the gate around. And
Yeah,
she'll
he's
kind of look.
probably like
Mhm.
yeah, he's probably like um modifying the walls a bit to where there's a bit more of a cover. What are they called? Like little like stubs that you see at like the top of castles, so archers can hide and quickly move around to shoot
Ventilations?
arrows out. I think so. I,
I think
I,
that's the
I honestly
term.
do not know. And maybe like a few arrow slits as well, so it's easier for archers to shoot out from total cover, like little arrow slit
Okay.
windows. So you can't really
So
shoot
he's
in,
more
but you
like
can
on
shoot
top
out.
of the wall at this point.
Mhm.
Okay, so she's gonna kind of call down from there and be like, if you're interested in taking a small break, I made some lunch for you.
He's mostly shirtless because while it's not too exhausting because he's mostly using magic, he looks like he's still putting up a sweat, constantly like climbing and molding everything, just the vast amount of it. Where he quickly turns to you, kind of wipes some of the sweat off his forehead.
Oh, thank you. What do you have there?
Oh, no need to get down. I'll come up. She'll kind of hoist it in one hand and kind of scurry up to hand him the grilled cheese. You've been working really hard on everyone's behalf, and I don't know if anyone's really said thank you, but I want to express my gratitude about it.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, I feel like I'm making up for what I haven't done before. I feel like I haven't done much for this team, and I've been a bit absent lately. I'm wanting to make up for it a bit.
certainly don't think that at all. You've been an incredible asset on the battlefield, not only holding off enemies, but I mean, your healing abilities are amazing. You've been a big help.
I appreciate that. I guess it's just I can't freeze half a battlefield. I can't take a giant's fist to the face like your sister, and I can't motivate people like others on the team. This is war. This is something I'm good at. This is something I'm experienced with, and I feel I want to make up for what I haven't been able to do.
Takes the rag out and she's like, do you mind? And kind of leans forward and dabs it a little on his forehead. She's thinking a second before she kind of, like, her shoulders kind of flax a little bit.
You would think me being heat resistant, I wouldn't sweat so much.
Well, I mean, it just proves how hard you're working, and I think you should give yourself a little bit more credit. I mean, I still feel like I'm trying to contribute too. But
I don't know what you mean. Your spells
has
are
an important role.
amazing. Your spells are amazing. You're such a hard worker, and I've seen how you're able to bind everyone together. The way you talk and the way you seem to just ooze connections. People gather around you. And you can do all these amazing things.
That before, but I do appreciate it. I know I'm trying, but back in the Feywild, I realized that I hadn't made enough connection. Like, you know, even as we've been traveling together, we haven't really spoken very much, and I wanted to apologize for that and just really let you know how a part of this team you are. How a part of this team you are.
Yes, thank you for speaking up. My ears aren't what they used to be.
Sorry about that. You are a little bit taller than I am. But no.
That may have also been a bit on my end. I been a bit hesitant to fully bond with the rest, I think. I've told you before about how I lost my team and my family before, and after that it's hard to open up to other people. And when I felt like I was starting to make a proper connection on the team, that's when Juby left, and I guess I started to close off again.
I mean, that's understandable, certainly. Juby's it has and will always be a great part of our team. But you're part of it too. We're all in this together, and you're doing your part in 10 other people's parts. I just wanted to let you know how important you are to us, even if we might not always say it all the time. And I know you've had your troubles with not Savannah anymore, but you know, you're still like a family to us. We're all growing and learning together as this weird gaggle of friends, but I do consider everyone in it a family, including you.
Which family member do you think I am? The weird uncle, the cocky older brother, little brother.
Hmm. Well, your jokes are very dad oriented. Maybe that or an uncle.
You know, what would be nice?
Hmm?
We've had a lot of doom and gloom recently. Everyone's had their own issues. It would be nice just to escape all of that for a little bit. Just let's just say the 5 of us just go out one night, all of us, and go out and get just something simple, out to a restaurant or one of those new moving pictures that I saw being advertised.
Mm, I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. Yeah, we can go to Duck World if you like that, or
Although that place is expensive.
yeah, that's okay. I think
It's like
we
40
can.
bucks a burger.
Yes, I. Well, then we'll make a promise that once all of this is over with, we can go to Duck World again, and I'll be the one to pay.
Don't make a promise you can't keep. I got a big gut that takes a lot to fill.
For you, I'll definitely hold it to it. We can do it.
I look forward to it. Something to keep me going, I guess.
Well, you can't keep going on an empty stomach, so please eat up. And if you need any
Oh,
help, just let
yes.
me know.
Thank you.
And he goes ahead and he takes a bite of the grilled cheese and he pulls it away. He doesn't really have, you know, dragonborn mouth, so he pulls it away and it's just long, stringy cheese between his maw and his sandwich.
Thank you again, Malral. I hope that you take that to heart.
I always do. I got a big one. I can take in a lot of things.
He kind of like puts his hand over his chest.
Hey, yo! She just kind of smiles, and we'll probably spend the rest of it just kind of chatting with him offhandedly and making sure, everything's in line with the wall.
Oh, and try not to pull your back out again like on the first day. I
I'm really trying.
appreciate the
I
effort,
think
but try not to lift so many stones.
it still kind of hurts from all the warding glyphs, yeah.
Even after the healing. All right, hold on.
Trying.
I think I have. Hold on. It's like a first level heal wounds.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, they'll probably just chat and laugh and make jokes at each other for the remainder of the night.
All right. Yeah, so that is everybody's various downtimes over the first week. And we're going to wrap things up here for tonight as we go into the second week of preparations before the big battle next time. So I hope everybody had fun. We got some real heart to hearts out here, left and right. Also, the parental polycule. Who would have seen that coming? um, but yeah, our wonderful group of adventurers are banding together to defend the town of Nue Hue, and they have gotten a great beginning, and they've got big plans if and when they succeed. So if you haven't done so already, please go check out all of these wonderful streamers under exclamation point players. They are super amazing in their own right, wonderful people. I would say they are all grade A beans, S tier beans to put it lightly. And you should go support them. If you haven't done so already, please give me a follow here on Twitch, a sub over on YouTube, a follow on Twitter. You can join my Discord, the Eternal Citadel, and be a part of my incredible community. Once again, there'll be no stream on Wednesday. I have IRL responsibilities, but we will be back here next Monday for more Eberron, Ashes of the Last War. So stay tuned. We will also be raiding, she looks to still be streaming, or they look to still be streaming. We're going to raid Hemlock. Hemlock plays Deadlands with me over on B's channel on every other Thursday, including this Thursday, probably. So let's go send them some love. They're playing a card game called, they're playing Marvel Snap. They're a very cute gargoyle VTuber. They're an artist and they also make and rig models. So, go send them love. And if you have money, throw money at them. If you're a follower, please copy down the call to hugs. If you're a sub, please copy down the knight's message. And let us go send them some love. Have a great night and the sweetest of dreams. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.